is asking to be head of the FBI, and he said that their headquarters should be shut down. It is his own words. It is not some conspiracy. It is what Mr. Patel actually said himself.
I am fit to be the director of the FBI.
If you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions, and then I could read the whole transcript.
You've got 2 minutes.
Unfortunately, there are some Democrat senators who still don't understand the principle of freedom of religion and Article 6 of the Constitution. Quote, no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. Unfortunately, they're once again using the religious bigotry card, but this time trying to foment religious bigotry against Hindus and Hinduism.
Donald Trump is crushing the American deep state with an Indian twist. That's right, Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard. These are two Hindu rebels exposing the deep state. So let's waste no time and deep dive into their careers and how they got here in the first place. This is Shubhangi Sharma. Let's dive in. India is having a very proud moment in the United States right now. Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard, both linked to India, are unconventional figures in the American security establishment. And yet, as Donald Trump's cabinet picks, they have lit a fire under the deep state.
What truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet.
We must tackle violent crime. Just in 2023 alone, there was 100,000 rapes, 100,000 drug overdoses, and 17,000 homicides. The priority of the FBI, if I'm confirmed, will be to ensure that our communities are protected and safeguarded and our children have parks to play in and not needles to walk over.
Kashyap, or as the Americans call him, Kash, is a man of Indian descent, has been nominated to be the director of the FBI, the USA's foremost investigative agency focused on curbing crime and protecting national security. As he walked into his confirmation hearing, he was joined by his family that came all the way from India. Before he began the proceedings, Patel made sure to touch his parents' feet and say, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Meanwhile, Tulsi Gabbard, a practicing Hindu and friend of India, has been nominated as the Director of National Intelligence. She kept a bold stance throughout the hearing, unfazed by the attacks and allegations that came her way.
You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters.
Both are outspoken critics of the deep state, challenging the ideologies and individuals behind forever wars and the politicization of law enforcement and intelligence agencies. They embody the shift sparked by Trump's 2024 victory. Their career graphs are anything but boring, so it doesn't come as a surprise that their confirmation hearings have been explosive. Let's start with Kash Patel, who many call Trump's bulldog. He's fiercely loyal, relentless, and battle-hardened. If there's one man who stuck with Trump through thick and thin, it's him. Trump has considered making him the CIA chief as well, which goes to show how important Patel has become. So what's his story? It starts with his parents, Indian origin immigrants who fled Uganda in the 1970s when Idi Amin drove Indians out. Born in the US, Patel has been raised as a Hindu. In fact, it is said that he has a space in his apartment dedicated to Hindu gods, like most Indians. Patel has built himself from the ground up. He's only 45. He started as a lawyer, a public defender, then pivoted to national security and defense by 2014. That's when things took off. By 2017, the game had changed. Patel wasn't just another suit in Washington, he was a terrorism prosecutor, leading investigations into Al-Qaeda and ISIS. A sharp legal mind, a hawk who despises terrorists. He worked as the DOJ liaison to the Joint Special Operations Command, involved in operations against high-value targets. Then came 2019. Patel climbed higher, principal deputy to the Director of National Intelligence. He had eyes on 17 intelligence agencies. And guess what? He was delivering the president's daily briefing. By July that year, Trump created a brand new position just for him, Senior Director of the Counterterrorism Directorate at the National Security Council. And his fingerprints are all over major missions. The takedown of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, he had his fingerprints there. The elimination of Al-Qaeda's Qasem al-Rimi, he was involved. And fast forward to 2020, Kash Patel became the Chief of Staff for the Secretary of Defense right at the end of Trump's first term. Now to the controversies. Kash Patel is bold and highly motivated, and that has left his opponents concerned. Patel sees a deep state running America, and he laid it all out in his 2023 book, Government Gangsters. Trump called it a roadmap to end the deep state's reign. In the book, Patel names 60 people he believes are part of the deep state: Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Bill Barr, James Comey, Robert Mueller, the list goes on. His critics, they call it an enemy hit list, but Patel denies it.
Simply this: if the best attacks on me are going to be false accusations and grotesque mischaracterizations, the only thing this body is doing is defeating the credibility of the men and women at the FBI. I stood with them here in this country. In every theater of war we have, I was on the ground in service of this nation. And any accusations leveled against me that I would somehow put political bias before the Constitution are grotesquely unfair. And I will have you reminded that I have been endorsed by over 300,000 law enforcement officers to become the next director of the FBI. Let's ask them.
Then there's January 6th. Allegations swirl that he played a role there. Reports say that he blocked Defense Department officials from resisting the Biden transition. But he has a different view. According to him, it was an inside job, and he did everything in his power to stop the menace. A group of 23 former Republican officials even called him a real danger to democracy. But Patel is far from done. He's a major right-wing voice now, making fiery podcast appearances, hammering the deep state narrative. And he's got big plans for the FBI. Remember, the FBI is the leading agency concerned with domestic threats in the US. In recent years, it has been accused of being weaponized for political gains by the Democrats and being actively involved in subverting the Republicans. For example, before the 2020 election, the FBI pushed big tech to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story, and later under the Biden administration, it opened investigations under Trump. So what's Kash Patel's vision? Shut down the Washington, D.C. headquarters of the FBI and turn the premises into a deep state museum. He wants to relocate thousands of FBI agents across the country to tackle real crime, as he says, drug trafficking and street violence. No more political games, just law enforcement. Now that's a tough pill to swallow for an agency that has enjoyed sweeping powers and little scrutiny. Love him or hate him, Kash Patel is here to shake things up. That is, if his confirmation comes through. We'll know soon enough. Like Patel, Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation is also on hold. She is a fierce critic of America's regime change wars from Iraq and Afghanistan to Libya and Syria. Gabbard has spent years challenging US interventionist policies from within. Until 2022, she was a Democrat, but by 2024, she had switched sides, aligning herself with Donald Trump's Republican Party. Her background is as unique as her politics, you see. Part Samoan, a practicing Hindu, and a trailblazer in every sense. At 44, Tulsi Gabbard has already packed in a lifetime of achievements. She's a lieutenant colonel in the US Army Reserve, with deployments spanning Iraq, Kuwait, and the Horn of Africa. She first made history at 21 years of age, winning a seat in Hawaii's House of Representatives. But duty called. Her National Guard unit was sent to Iraq, forcing her to step away. She later returned to politics, becoming the first Hindu elected to the US Congress. Her swearing in was historic, with her hand resting on the Bhagavad Gita as she took oath. Now she's up for one of the most powerful intelligence roles in America, Director of National Intelligence. If confirmed, she will oversee 18 agencies, including the CIA and NSA, who will report to her. This will effectively make her the ultimate gatekeeper of US secrets. As an anti-war crusader, she challenges the deep state like no other. In 2016, she threw her weight behind Bernie Sanders, articulating her anti-war crusade, which earned her a lot of praise. By 2020, she was running her own presidential campaign, and she did particularly well during the primaries with successful salvos against leaders like Kamala Harris. In fact, many would credit Tulsi Gabbard for torpedoing Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. But this is where her party snubbed her. She found fewer takers among the Democrats for her anti-interventionist views, and instead, she was accused of being a lackey of foreign countries like Russia and Syria. Hillary Clinton even suggested that she was a Russian asset, which led Tulsi to file a defamation lawsuit against the former Secretary of State. Gabbard eventually dropped out of the race and threw her support behind the eventual winner, Joe Biden. But by 2022, she had left the Democrats. She accused the Democrats of being controlled by an elitist cabal of warmongers and driven by woke ideologies. Cut to the confirmation hearing now, and she was grilled for her 2017 meeting with Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad. This was when the US had spent years trying to topple his regime.
I have no love for Assad or Gaddafi or any dictator. I just hate Al-Qaeda.
Tulsi's views on Edward Snowden also made waves as she avoided calling him a traitor. Snowden is a whistleblower who had leaked official secrets revealing a global mass surveillance program carried out by the US government. He fled the nation and has been in Russia ever since. But Tulsi thinks that while Snowden's method was wrong, he certainly isn't a traitor. The Democrat senators do not like this one bit. But can this torpedo her nomination? Chances are that she will still succeed. In fact, both Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard are inevitable realities that the American security establishment will have to deal with at some point or another. Kash Patel's focus on reducing crime and drug smuggling aligns with Trump's voters, and they support him wholeheartedly. In fact, when it comes to Patel, it's all or nothing. One way or another, Trump will keep Patel by his side. Meanwhile, Tulsi Gabbard is a star among the veteran community, and her crusade against forever wars has influenced American political debates for years. Trump knows that if he wants to take on the deep state, he needs a bold, unbeatable squad. Patel and Gabbard are exactly that. So whether these two are confirmed or not, they will continue to play pivotal national security roles under the Trump administration.